Hi everybody, my name again is Andrea. I am an English pronunciation trainer. I'm trained as a speech language pathologist and I own the company ClearSpeak, where I work with individuals on speaking English clearly and with confidence. That's my whole motivation. Today we're going to talk about the American R. Let me share the screen here. Okay, make it bigger. Okay, let's talk about this one first. Yeah. All right, we all know that R is a problem. It's a problem for everybody. So it's the hardest sound to say in English, and especially if we're talking about the American accent or American pronunciation of R, it's a super important sound. Not only is it everywhere, but it's definitely a hallmark of the American sound. So one of the things I want to do is talk a little bit about why it's so hard to say the R and some strategies for how to say the R if you're having difficulty. One of the difficulties with R is there are several ways to produce this sound correctly. It's not like something like a TH or an M or a T, where really there's only one right way to do it. With the R, your tongue can really do a lot of different things and get the sound right. So that's one of the things that makes it great and awful. The other thing that's difficult, right, is you can't see what's going on with the mouth. And so it's hard to know how to get it right. So let's go over let me talk about the one basic thing of R. So the one thing that your tongue has to do right in order to say the American R correctly or clearly, I like to think about it as being clear to a native listener, is your tongue needs to be high in the mouth, up by the top teeth. It needs to be in the back of the mouth, somewhere between like the back third, the back 2/3 of the mouth and the uvula. The hangy down thing in the back of your throat, super medical term, that's your uvula. It needs to be somewhere between the first third and your uvula. If it's too far back here, just going to sound throaty. If it's too far up here, it's going to sound L-ish or something like that. So your tongue has to be high, up by the top teeth. Your tongue has to be in the back of your mouth. And then the other thing that needs to happen, what are the three things I need to, are you high, in the back, your tongue has to be kind of spread across. It can't be in the middle of the mouth. It has to be spread across to your teeth. So those are the three elements that you need to do. What else your tongue does, there's a variety of correct productions for that. So those are the three elements. Now let's talk about the two basic things, the two basic strategies that I usually talk about to help people get this. Now, if you get it just by listening, you can figure out what your tongue needs to do just through listening. Great, do that, because that will get you into an R that's easy to produce for you. As long as it sounds similar, close, or the same, then it doesn't matter what else you're doing. Don't worry about it. Check it off your list. I don't need to worry about that sound. I'm doing it right, even if you're not doing it the way I'm about to describe. Okay, here are the two basic things. If you're really struggling with this sound, here's what I want you to try. One of them we're going to call the bunched R, where the tongue just bunches into the back of the mouth. And the other one we're going to call the tongue tip R, where you're using the tip of your tongue. If your native language has a sound like this, ra, 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 an alveolar trill where you're moving the tongue like that at the front of the mouth, the tongue tip R is for you. So let's talk about the tongue tip R first anyway, since I'm talking about it right now. And I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm trying to make my videos a little shorter, a little easier to digest for time. Okay, so the tongue tip R. What you're going to do, again, the tongue is high at the top of the mouth. The tongue is spread across the teeth. And you're going to use the tongue tip to say the R. And what you're going to do is you're going to point your tongue tip past that ridge. If you notice, right, there's a ridge right behind your front teeth, the top front teeth. You're going to point your tongue behind that ridge. That ridge is called your alveolar ridge. And you're going to point your tongue past it. behind it, but you are not going to let your tongue touch the roof of the mouth. That's the hardest part. It cannot touch or it will sound like an L. La, 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 la. Doesn't matter where my tongue touches. If my tongue touches, it sounds too much like an L. So here I go. Spread it across. Keep it high. You can see even without any lip rounding, it sounds like an R. Ra, 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 ra. Now the trick with this that many people have a hard time with is not letting the tongue touch on the way down. Here's what that would sound like. You'll hear a little tap sound. Ra, 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 ra. If my tongue touches the alveolar ridge on the way down, it's going to make a tap or a trill kind of sound. So you're going to try to control that. Okay. Then what you're going to do for practice is you're going to pick some words like you see on the screen. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to extend my R. Race. I'm going to move slowly into the word. Right. Let's do rain. Rain. As I move slowly into the word, that gives my tongue time to kind of feel what it's like to not tap and that sort of thing. Then you're going to do it faster. Race, rain, right. Then put it into a sentence. We are in a race. That is not right. As I do these videos, it's kind of, it just highlights to me, I have so much to talk about with this. We could go on and on and on, but let's try to keep this as like kind of like level 1R. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the bunched R. With the bunched R, what you're going to do again is bunch the tongue in the back of the mouth, but my tongue is high and spread across and in the back. Here's what that looks like. You'll notice the tongue tip stays down, and this is easier to do for a lot of people. High, ha ha ha. And I retract my tongue. I pull it back somewhere past that first third of my mouth. And again, it doesn't matter. Is it here, 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 here? None of that really matters so much as long as the tongue stays high. Ra. Not like this. Ra. Yeah, yeah. You do have to kind of get the tongue to bunch up as high to the roof of the mouth as possible. If this is the roof of my mouth and this is my tongue, I'm going, again, I'm not touching. That's touching. If this is my tongue, right? Ra. Ra. I just went ra, 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 ra. All pretty much sounds very similar. So then I get my tongue ready. Race. Right. Rain. And I'm not pulling it into my throat. I'm not using this muscle to do it. I'm doing it right here. Do it in words. Put it into sentences. I hope you find that helpful. It really is helpful to me if you leave comments about what you find helpful, what you would like more of. I'd really appreciate it. I know if any of you have tried to look up my website, I'm so bad about putting time into that. But I do work with people individually. So if you're looking for work with a skilled trainer, then reach out and I will send you information. Okay, have a good day.